right, to keep up with keeping your lives tight, tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need, to be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hearer of all whom pleads? Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown, to worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne?
To you and our 1 hour audiences in New York, as well as Philadelphia, as well as New Jersey, please continue to join us with an A.H.A.D moment. Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, may I just peace and other blessings in the blessed presence. Holy Queen Mother off camera. May I just peace and other blessings.
May I use the peace and other blessings.
We're talking about, Mother, the perceptions that people have of Islam. And we went in to see how those perceptions have been
perpetrated. They've been nurtured. They've been, you know, they've been slyly put into the people's minds by the enemies of man. Not just the enemies of religion, the enemies of man. And that's real deep. And you know? And they're hurting. And they really are affecting innocent people's lives. Yeah, but they don't care because then they never care. People has always been numbers to these people. But they live on such falsehood and hypocrisy. Right. They're hurting innocent people. You know, they're destroying lives with their words, with their mindset, and what have you. And then they turn around and say, we're the good guys. If they could, they would put us in concentration camps like they did the other races of people who are with them now looking down on us, on Afro-Americans. Islam, the religion of the all-knowing one, was chosen for us for a reason. And it stayed in the same progression of the religions that was chosen for the Hebrews all down the line, you know? And the thing about it is that when we were being prepared for it through Noble Ali and Elijah Muhammad, they were fearful of it then, even though it was at its lowest level, because they knew the truth that was in that book that was being presented to us, and they knew that the Lord Allaah, the Ah, was alive, you know, and all powerful. And see, they didn't want us to get it. They didn't want us to get it when they was first brought from Africa, when George Washington so-called said, allegedly said, don't let Islam across the Atlantic because you'll lose your slaves. You know what I'm saying? So they've been aware of the freedom that Islam gives you. They can't afford freedom for any people in this nation. In order for this nation to run the way they want it, everybody has to stay a slave to capitalism. Everybody has to stay a worshiper of the dollar, the gold bullion, you know, the material things of this world, or this whole system gonna fall. And they can't afford to let that happen. At least they don't believe they can.
Well, does that touch on when you're talking about the deepness of them being the people of being the enemies of man, distinct from being just the enemies of religion?
I'm talking about these people being of the spirit of the devil. See, you got to understand, man is mind. The supreme man is Allah. The real mind is Allah, the creator. We are kinds of minds, man's kind. And we come in different species. That's why they say all humankinds. We come in different kinds of species of minds, and different bodies and gene pools. You understand? So when you're talking about them being the enemies of man, you go all the way back to the time and the cause of the devil being thrown out of heaven from amongst the angels on high. You know? And being cursed to stay a part of our being. Because the devils that got thrown out are of the spirit, they are the jinn, they are of our beings. You know? That's why if you go into some of the deeper teachings of the ancients, you'll find them saying things like man is part angel and part animal. Because we are. Our higher minds is of angelic nature, and our lower minds is of this earthly world. Now, the angels on high being cursed to be put down at this level, that's very humiliating to them, to be taken from the high and put down and locked in our beings, and locked in this world around us, and locked in positions beneath those who surrender to Allaah. Because Allaah will take those that surrender to it and put them over Satan and protect them from Satan as to where Satan can't do nothing to them, or Satan's cohorts. So it's a hell for them right here, not down in the earth, right here, down on the earth. You feel me? So they are the enemies of the true mind, the true man. They are the enemies of truth. That's why we say they're the enemies of man. You know? And those the kinds of men or men that are of the truth, of the righteous, Allaah is the righteous. Those who are of the righteous, those are the ones they hate the most. Those are the ones they're the enemies of. Those are the ones they're trying to destroy. And now, with this world going awry, that was prophesied and allowed to be. You know, see this everybody's running amok, and it's become commonplace, and people now know what's normal is crazy, and people are satisfied with it. You know, would you like to marry me and be my wife? You know what I'm saying? That's common now.
It's common. Yeah.
Huh? Ahezaah, Allaah has allowed this to be because its plans were to destroy this world. It said that. It said it before Jesus' time, it said it during Jesus' time, and it's saying it now on this day of judgment. And it's showing how this whole planet, this whole globe is running amok like the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. Huh? And they were destroyed by fire and water. And wind. Sunken into the earth.
So we have our mudslides. We have
these things that's going on right now, they're just signs of what's to come.
Tornadoes, we have our tsunamis.
We have everything happening.
Glaciers falling apart.
Worst of all, we have the ozone layer melting away.
And the ice glacier. Because they said it's going to rise and flood us out. You know,
yeah, you know, so much stuff going on that was prophesied.
And they said the other day, you know, everybody's have this global warming alert. You know, all the former presidents and vice presidents is doing all this campaign about global warming. And they said the other day that 2010 has been the hottest year ever reported.
Right. That's right.
So how that's going for that global warming?
That's right.
Yeah, it's getting hotter. You know,
that's hurting. So you know what Ahezaah has sent down. You know, man want to turn their backs on it and think that they are it.
Well, history has proven that man cannot overcome prophecy. You know, divine prophecy. They've never been able to overcome divine prophecy. Whatever the Lord has said, it comes to be. You know? But you always have those who are the rejectors of the faith being the Lord Allaah, the rejectors of the righteous being the Lord Allaah, and those who support the devil, Seth, the devil Satan. You know? And you always had these types of people, but now it's like the Lord has allowed this thing to fill up in the world. where the Lord said, for those who reject, I will curse you and your offspring. And the offspring of the people are filling up into the world to be cursed.
Yeah.
You know? And the Lord said, I will fill hell with all of you, and it'll still be room. You know?
And the thing is, you know, people sit back and really think that we're deluded, crazy, and what have you.
Well, you know,
for what we say, but you know, when you look at the world, you got to look at things really, you know, just take a step back and look. Now, they think it's normal for a man or a woman to be born, a little girl or a little boy, with those genitals that they supposed to have. And it's okay that a girl wants to be a man. And it's okay that a man wants to be a woman. But the evidence of what they're supposed to be is right there in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, okay, you can do that. That's fine with us. But if someone grow up and say, hey, I love spaghetti and I want to be a meatball, they'll say, lock that person up. He's crazy.
So you got the society wants to teach away from a tradition, something that's already been not only just shown in the physical evidence of ourselves, but what's been done in the past, what the family structure is supposed to be like.
Yeah. Right.
And they just
but I'm saying they're locking people up saying they crazy because they want to be Superman or Batman. But it's okay that a man could be a woman.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. When you look at how they judge insanity, you got to be saying, wait a minute, who's putting the spin on this thing?
Let's go further. How about the people who are allowed licenses by the government to go into a person and cut out his genitals or cut out the vagina and turn it inside out and give them penises and whatever, switch them, you know. I mean, it just lets you know the level of society the mentality that we live in.
The madness.
And the thing about it is, and the misconception of Islam is because of the perception that the people that say they believe allowed to be in Islam. They don't go out and fight against the falsehoods of Islam. They allow those falsehoods to be spoken, and they sit back and wait for somebody else to speak for them, wait for their ministers or whomever to speak for them. Why do you think Farrakhan has so many followers after Elijah, although he wasn't saying nothing of his own, just repeating Elijah's words for 20 years or 30 years? And then, you know, I mean, why? Because people wanted somebody to speak up against the people they feared. And the thing about it was Muslims, those who call themselves Muslims, wasn't the one that went and retrieved Farrakhan from his hiding place. It was intellectual, educated, legal
scaredy cats.
People, scaredy cats that wanted somebody to be
their militant spokesperson.
Right. Somebody who could who wasn't afraid to take the blame, you know, and who wasn't afraid to lose anything because, you know, he wasn't being, you know, dependent upon them. But in the end, before it's all over, you see, he became afraid too of losing something.
But you know that
got very quiet.
But you know the other thing is, you know, African American people, we took Wallace D. Muhammad and named him the reformer of the faith. One who went over to the Middle East and studied Islam. Then he came and reformed the faith. How he could reform the faith when Allah clearly put in Quran. Allah first said don't put nothing above it.
Right.
So he put the United States of America
above
laws above Quran.
Right.
And he gonna call the father adulterous, but he read from this book. But that's why Allah make it so clear in Quran, and for those who read and with sincerity and look for Allah to give them, it say clearly in Quran, you take part of the book and throw the rest away. He was one who clearly took part of the book and threw the rest away, and he led the people with the part that was favorable to him straight to hell.
Yeah,
and then they call themselves believers. How you can believe in part of the book? You're not a believer.
Right.
You're not even attempting to believe because you done took away the other part of the book.
Right. And the part that they didn't understand, they put money, wealth, business over spirituality, over the unseen Allah. They did, you know, and they followed him in that. And they said, oh, he's the greatest man that then came, and he was a great reformer. Reform what? Because the enemy of man said, I'm going to set you up so that you could lead them through this door. And you're going to be the representative of the Muslims, that black African Muslims in America.
Yeah, you're going to take over your father.
And he didn't teach them one thing about truth in Islam.
They said, we're going to let you live safe.
He had nothing to explain to them because he did not follow the way of Allah, right, of the all-knowing one.
The government said, we're going to let you live safe.
Yeah.
We want you to take your father's followers.
And look how they disgraced him when he died.
And the Caucasian said, he was a hypocrite. He was a
Caucasians
turned Caucasian. And nobody said nothing good about him.
No black man stood up and said, this man wasn't right. When he died, you hardly heard anything of it. They just wished him away. Because see, one thing about them, they hate people who want to be somebody else. They hate people that want to be them. They appreciate you and respect you for wanting to be yourself. You understand? But they will accept you to use you. Huh? And they themselves came all over the internet talking about this man. Caucasians and in Caucasian institutions. He didn't teach his people nothing. Mm-hmm. He need to be ashamed of himself. He was not right. He was this, he was that. Mm-hmm. That was Caucasians. Mm-hmm. And he really didn't have anybody to fight for him. Mm-hmm. Right. You know? But weeks after the blacks start trying, those who say they follow him, start trying to put stuff on the internet to say things about him. But the truth be told, the man was not right. His own father said, don't trust him before he passed away. And the people ignored that. He said, money, money, money. And they went running because that's what they wanted. They didn't want Allah. They wanted capitalism. Mm-hmm. They wanted the same thing that the black Afro-American leaders wanted amongst Christianity. They want to be accepted by the powers that be, and they want to be let through the door so that they can be looked upon as equal, or at least get the money and be able to live with them.
And let me tell you, those are the same people. If the Caucasians would come to them and say, we want you to devise a plan how we can put your people back in slavery, what's the price it's going to cost us to do that?
And they'll do it.
And they'll do it.
Just like our people, just like the people of Africa sold the Africans into slavery, they will sell the people back into slavery. Right. You know, run around here talking about fine people for calling somebody nigger. You need to say fine people for not teaching them what nigger is. For real. On all the levels, the ghetto levels and the rural levels, you know. For those who said we gonna hang them niggeros, and those who start calling themselves niggas and other people niggas, you need to keep it and let everybody know the history of it so we don't forget how we got there.
And then even with that character, even with this process head character,
trying to be like a Caucasian straight.
Soon as he thought that he had Caucasian in his genes, he ran and took a DNA test. Was able to take a DNA test, had the money to take a DNA test all these years, but when he found that his ancestors came from this certain plantation and hooked up to these rich white folks, he ran and took a DNA test to see was he related to them. Mm-hmm. Ain't that something? Mm-hmm. And that evidently the DNA didn't go his way because he never said what was the true results of his DNA. Ain't that about something? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Talking all this black power stuff, that just like when they said, what happened to the Black Panthers, they went and got government jobs. Mm-hmm. That's him. He all this black stuff. As soon as he heard that he may be related to these rich Caucasian people, he go take a DNA.
We ain't calling no names, but just think about this individual. He has a sharp tongue. He speaks very loudly.
No.
No, they something else. I mean, our people is some turncoats, man. You better not shut one eye on.
No, you better ask who are your people. Which ones do you consider your people?
I know.
You know,
because I'm telling you, they'll create a lot of problems for you.
Yeah, but even in all walks of their religions, all walks of religion, they turn away from the spirituality, Lord. You said.
Yeah, well, look at. See, this is what I'm talking about. The people who profess to believe in Islam, they let people who are non-believers and people who are not really familiar with the truth of Islam lead them and teach them. How can Muslims come and say there's no room in Islam for spirituality? There's no room in Islam for mysticism. There's no you understand what I'm saying?
Allah don't have no secrets.
And yeah. Elijah's grandson told me he sat in the lap of his uncle Warith Deen, and then gonna debate and say Allah don't have no secrets, and it's written all in the Quran. Allah is the know of all secrets. You know, secrets of the universe and everything. So what do you mean Allah has no secrets?
You know not.
You know what I'm saying? So you know that his uncle wasn't teaching him nothing. See, his grandfather wasn't marked to teach them Islam. But this man came and said he was a reformer of the faith of Islam. You know what I'm saying? The only thing he reformed is to get them to stop saying the white man is the devil. And the white man is the devil. And so is the black man. And the Chinese man and every other man is the devil. Every man got a devil in him.
That is true.
Yeah, so if they choose to be the way of the devil, they the devil. The doers of evil. Come on.
Hey, Flip Wilson said it best.
The devil made me do it.
Flip Wilson recognized he had the devil in him.
Yeah, man.
Everybody laughed. I used to say,
I laughed.
I laughed too. It was hilarious, but I did say.
But you understood. You understood what he was saying. The devil made me do it.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of our people is like that. You know?
Well, after, from the entertainment, and mostly the entertainment, the movies or whatever, they downplay the devil as a serious enemy of mankind. You know, so
just like they trying to make out now that Judas was really a friend of Jesus, and he was doing Jesus a favor by going out there snitching on him, and he didn't really mean to snitch. Oh yeah. That's what they're trying to propagate now.
Yeah. I've seen some earlier movies that tried to make him a sympathetic character.
Right.
Earlier movie, television movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jesus had they talking about Judas being his enemy. You better wonder about how many of them disciples was his enemy.
I know.
You know, because Muhammad had a lot of enemies around him. All the prophets had a lot of enemies. Hey, I got enemies talking about they my friends.
I told you.
You know?
I said I ain't hear about none of them said, wait a minute. Put me up there.
Yeah, you know.
I ain't hear about none of them getting killed trying
to knock them off
or anything else.
Right.
So I said, I don't know what kind of friends they were.
They
questioned the friendship.
They talk about the Philistines throwing stones, and they wouldn't even throw a stone. And them guys didn't have guns.
Maybe
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe, but
they ain't even had guns and they ain't throw no stones.
Can you imagine me being up there and you ain't doing nothing? I'm like, hey, did you have
I can't imagine.
You understand what
I can imagine your children being out there saying, Daddy, why you ain't getting mommy? I'm tired of her. I always say stuff to get me beat up. I must be a pervert, man. I'm getting beat up after the show.
We were talking, but you talk about even the disciples of Jesus. Now, it just struck me about the Mel Gibson movie, the Passion of Christ,
and how
he, the only one that he portrayed as really having a concern and actually prepared to sacrifice a life for Jesus was actually Jesus' mother, Mary.
Yeah.
You know, and now we wonder why all of a sudden, I mean, he put in a lot of work and a lot of thought. You can see a lot of research in it. The Arabic terminology, him making salat, Jesus making salat in the garden, all of, it's like, all this is coming together and all. Now, it's a shame that Mel Gibson is now a crazy guy. I didn't know.
He ain't crazy. They hate him because he made that picture.
They blow. See, everybody got problems. Everybody human beings. And if you go into somebody's closet, you're going to find some skeletons in that closet. All of them got skeletons in their closet. The ones that's pointing them out and trying to fish them out and trying to destroy them, they got skeletons in their closet. Now that he done this, they just going to search for all the negatives of him and bring it out. And it's hurting them. Yeah. And he's going off because he can't do nothing about it.
Right.
Now he got to try to change and act like he's with him and beg, come on, give me a break, leave me alone. Right. You know? But he went into drinking saying, screw you.
And they only doing that so they can discredit Passion and Christ.
And see, they saying paparazzi and this, that. They allowing the paparazzi to be.
Right.
You know?
What was that other one he did, Apocalyptic or something?
Apocalyptic.
Yeah. And they ain't like that he did that.
No, he's
getting about the Native American. Was that
yeah. He's just getting too deep into the truth about them, and they didn't like it, man. But this is the time, and somebody got to tell the story. Somebody got to be a mercy to the people, a sign of mercy to the people, whether they reject it or accept it, you know. And they do a very good job of shutting me out, but they messed up with him. You know,
I'm gonna say how
they messed up with Michael Jackson too, but they took him out. Once he said he was Muslim and believed in Islam, that was his death notice. They made sure they got him. Huh? Yeah. I said, oh boy, he messed up now. You know, he went through all the religions, and when he come to Islam, okay, buddy.
It's interesting you talk about the exposure, Michael Jackson's potential exposure and his influence. My son was telling me about a job, his position that he once worked where he worked a number of stores that were in different neighborhoods, different sections of the state. And it's interesting, he was talking about when you work in these stores, they have certain types of music for the customers.
Right.
And okay, in this town, what type of music it was. And he would tell me about, okay, they do this type of music, the Eagles or whatever. What type of music do they have in the inner city? And they said they have, urban music. He was talking about the different stores.
Yeah.
When he mentioned Michael Jackson was in every one of those stores. Yeah. No matter what, he was consistent. So it just struck me just the influence that Michael Jackson's potential influence.
And they had to get rid of him because he was talking about Islam being reasonable, Islam being balanced, him getting something from Islam. Oh no, wait a minute. He got to go.
Right, because you can't have one people trying to destroy
his people can't say it. But his people, when he died, his brothers, especially Jermaine, kept talking about Allah, kept saying Allah, and they kept ignoring him. They kept acting like he wasn't saying it.
Like it wasn't.
They kept acting like he wasn't associating Allah with Michael. Huh? And that's a part of the perception of Islam by these people. Islam is bad. Who did it? The so-called Muslims who was being misguided by people who didn't truly believe and have faith in Allah. They didn't truly believe in Muhammad, but they call themselves Muslim. Muslim and Christian and Buddhist and all that should not be an organization. It should not be an institution. Allah did not send this down for it to be like that. It sent it down as a guide to your everyday life, which should be included in everything.
Right.
It should not be singled out. When the people make their mistake, they kind of fix you in positions and make you pray one way and talk one way and dress one way and act one way and receive one way, doing everything mechanically. Now you in an organization.
Right. In a capsule.
And then when it comes to your normal everyday living, it's lost. Your truth is lost. And you got the signal where we
said
got
the
to
truth
go.
of religion is the way of life.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Lord Holy-Apostle
Yes.
Deen, Holy Queen Mother, and to you, the audience. May I use this peace and other blessing be within and about you. Tune in again to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to